can't afford to get a good job or own a house.
8 million Venezuelans voting for this assembly, saying it's actually less than 3.
It is. And people are going to start rioting in the streets.
Was reported to have asked Putin for military support that would help him stay in power.
We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
And they ignore him, and 8 more years goes by till Bernie himself finally admits to his sons, hey, I've been running this kid.
Does its dominance mean it can use the alliance for its own ends?
Since 1981, bond yields, also known as coupon rates, have just gone down and down and down.
The Federal Reserve note will be your biggest financial liability.
RTD Live Talk, Wednesday, the 11th day of the month of July. My name is Mike, and I'm glad to have a chance to connect with you guys tonight. So we're going to get into a very interesting topic, of which I just, as of yesterday, came across what looks to be a couple weeks old, but it's the whole WalkAway movement. So I'm looking to get your thoughts on what's going on with this, because I find it to be quite shocking that at this point in time, especially midsummer, that we have some type of movement taking place where it's not your normal movement where we have people saying that they're no longer going to be liberals. They're going to move away from the Democratic Party. And so there's a lot of things that, concern me in regards to why now, and then where are you going to go? And, can you just become conservative in your viewpoints and I guess become a Republican, which would be the only option that a lot of people are kind of left with. But I also want to share my thoughts on how I believe that beyond just the idea of walking away at this point, it's more importantly that you begin to wake up in regards to all the underlying principles and reasons as to why you're deciding that if you are one of the people who are participating in this walkaway movement, that why now? And the question would be is if Hillary Clinton had won the presidential race and she was our current president, would people still be talking about walking away? And would the mainstream media and all the things that they're using as the catalyst for them moving away, would they still be utilizing those type of reasons for abandoning what goes a lot deeper than just liberal viewpoints, in my opinion? So as always, welcome to the show. Looking forward to getting your thoughts on this matter. And so you can call in 1-833-LIVE-RTD and share what's on your mind, as well as we're going to talk about whatever's happening in the economy that I may not have had a chance to find out about today. So give it a second before we begin into this in-depth conversation, but definitely want to share my thoughts on this whole walkaway movement, because it just seems very interesting that it's happening now. And it's what's even more interesting is the fact that the mainstream media is running with it. YouTube, which has been very strict in regards to allowing conservative things as well as alternative media people to speak their opinions. They've been making sure they're monitoring that, but it looks like YouTube has done a good job of promoting the walkaway movement, because just by mistake in my news feed on my YouTube channel, I saw a plethora of people talking about why they walked away. And so I had a chance to listen to a couple of those videos or whatnot, and they were receiving 30, 40, 50, 60,000 views, all in regards to people sharing why they're walking away. So I think it's something we should cover, and I'm interested in finding out your guys' thoughts and see if you yourself might be one of the individuals. I'd imagine if you're a viewer of RTD, then you are already either straddling the fence, or you are a free thinker / a political atheist, as I would like to say it. And so we're going to start off right away with a call. So we'll see what this first viewer has to say. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello, caller. Where you calling from? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm sorry about that. How you doing? What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Mike. I'm calling you from Boca Raton, Florida.
Mike from Florida. How you doing this evening, my friend?
Outstanding. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Appreciate you calling in. And so tonight's topic, we're going to talk about this walk away movement. And if you have an opinion or some thoughts, I would love to hear what they are.
Great. I do have a question here.
Okay.
It seems like everybody is assuming option A, that the United States is foolishly tossing gold to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
And no one is talking about option B. And what I mean by that, it's a fact that the Pentagon considers maintaining the dollar reserve status as a top priority, probably more important than nuclear weapons. Of course, they know exactly what gold purchases China and Russia have made, and I doubt that the Pentagon would stand by idly. It would be totally illogical to publicize any gold purchases that the United States has made, considering that the fiat-based system allows the industrial military complex to exponentially grow yearly. Isn't it probable several government agencies are purchasing gold, possibly under a top-secret program, for a just-in-case scenario? You know, the cost to for the program would be peanuts compared to what they do every year with trillions of dollars. And considering the stock market, how it continues to go up and everything else, everybody knows it's artificial intelligent bots and algorithms that are influencing the markets every day. It's a brand new phenomenon. Who knows how long it could last for? And considering that MSU economist Mark Skidmore found $21 trillion in unauthorized spending in the Departments of Defense and Housing and Urban Development between 1998 and 2015, spending billions just to purchase gold to keep up with the other nations in a just-in-case scenario, may be a high probability that option B may exist. What do you think about that?
I would not say that is completely. That's definitely something that is possible. And so one thing you mentioned in that explanation there is the idea that you said government agencies could be secretly purchasing on their own to protect or whatever. And so my question would be, why and under what authority do a variety of government agencies, how would they have the right to do such, being that the Treasury, unfortunately the Federal Reserve would be the one that issues and authorizes transactions with the Federal Reserve notes. But
I totally understand that, but look what happened between 1998 and 2015. I threw that in there intentionally, that no one knew about that $21 trillion for years and years.
And here's the
thing. They
thing.
got away with it.
That $21 trillion.
Who knows what else they're doing.
Right. And that $21 trillion is just what was discovered by an external researcher from Michigan State who did that homework. But it's good to say that it's probably a lot more than that, because who actually knows what's going on in a digital form that may not be reported. And we also know that based upon this last little Great Recession, the Federal Reserve did extend some credit to other central banks that we don't really know how much was extended to prop those other banks up. So it's good to say that it's probably a lot more than $21 trillion. And it's no doubt that some gold could have been purchased with all of that counterfeit money that they created. But I will be surprised if the United States government agencies had anything to do with purchasing that, as opposed to the owners and the oligarchs' families of the Federal Reserve System. They probably acquired a lot more with that counterfeit money. So that is definitely a possibility. But it's going out. I think it's stretching out there and trying to give us a little bit of hope with saying our government's being prepared for something, which I don't think they are, because I question the whole Fort Knox stuff. And but I would say it's not impossible.
I do question it as well, but logically, if you have a fiat system that is feeding the military-industrial complex, and you can exponentially create fiat money out of thin air, do a ton of crazy things, it would be completely insane to say, oh, by the way, we're buying gold. Then, of course, the population is going to say, oh, let's go buy some gold.
Yeah.
The government's doing it. Sounds like a good idea. But then again, you know, if Russia and China are buying exponentially as indicated, who knows if China has 5,000 tons or 50,000 tons? We really don't know.
Right.
And I'm just throwing it out there. You and I don't know that answer, but logically speaking, we're talking about billions, not trillions, to guarantee in a just-in-case scenario.
Right.
In my mind, it would be totally insane for them not to do that because it's a very inexpensive insurance. Right. And definitely if they are doing it, there's no way they're going to announce it to the world that they're doing this for a just-in-case scenario.
Right. Okay.
I'm just throwing. I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows?
Okay. So with that being the case, I believe it's possible, but it's far-fetched. But I want to kind of get to the conversation topic of the evening, which is the WalkAway movement. And so, what are your thoughts on that? Have you been following that at all? And what do you think that's all about?
I need to follow it some more.
Okay.
To tell you the truth.
So basically,
I just want to.
Okay, so now I appreciate you sharing that comment about precious metals or whatnot, gold. But yet the WalkAway movement is geared towards, we have a lot of people, especially the younger population, that have been labeled as liberals and have associated either because of race, color, or whatever. As a Democrat, they are now walking away from that party, and I saw some videos where people say they're giving up they're denouncing liberalism. And so, do you think you can actually walk away from your core beliefs of being liberal-minded, where, just not to label anybody, but liberals tend to be more open and more open and just experimental with things, in a sense, more pro-government, big government. That's what it's been labeled as of now. Do you think you can walk away from that mindset or things of that nature?
Well, to be honest, the mainstream media is owned by 5 corporations. Mm-hmm. And there's 15 billionaires that actually influence what is fed to the general public. And let's be truthful. Jerry Springer is still popular after 30 years, and it's very easy to influence our population.
Yeah.
We're not a society that is capable of individual thought. Unfortunately, that's the truth.
Yeah.
And can they walk away from it? It depends on their particular their financial status. I mean, are they hurting financially or whatever? Are they working 2 or 3 part-time jobs or whatever? I mean, you look at the Republicans. They threw out the stimulus for businesses, but we all know businesses are buying, all this money's being spent to buy back stocks.
Yeah.
So in essence, and I mean, could they have done it differently? Yes, they could have done it differently. They could have made it so that way you do get a tax break if you purchase American products or if you hire Americans.
Yeah.
Nobody's hearing any good answers out there. People are really pissed off because they have several part-time jobs. You got kids living at home. You got kids that are stuck with $50,000-$100,000 debt. Mm-hmm. If I was in that scenario, and I'm hearing 2 spectrums, the Republicans and Democrats, discussing things that do not relate to my life, of course I would look at, you're only given 2 choices.
All right.
So if you're living in mom's basement and you're stuck with $50,000 debt, and these are your choices. You're going to pick A or B.
Well, I appreciate you calling in. Got to take another call, but thanks for sharing your thoughts, my friend. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Interesting. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about the whole WalkAway movement. I'm definitely wanting to hear people's thoughts on that. And so, just based upon the comment here, we have someone who mentioned about. So DJ, I thank you for tuning in, my friend. I appreciate you joining us. And so he says, I am one that did walk away. So DJ, if you don't mind, if you would like and be interested, feel free to call in, my friend. I would love to have you join in via chat and share some of your viewpoints. Definitely interested in finding out more about that. And so you said here, it said, no, man, it's the progressive movement that we are walking away from. So I would love for you to elaborate on that a little bit more. Just because from what I've seen with some of the videos, it's been a variety of people sharing how they themselves felt like they were misled, as well as just, for the most part, used as a political guinea pig forever. And they are tired of that and they want change. So please call in and share your thoughts, because I would definitely love to hear directly from someone who is a part of the movement and knows what's going on firsthand. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Pat, and I'm calling from Alabama.
Pat from Alabama. I'm doing excellent. What's your thoughts on this walk-away movement?
I tell you what. Hang on a second. Let me mute this computer. The party, I used to be a yellow dog Democrat, and the party left me.
The party left you. Okay, how so?
When they came out with child abuse and all these other things, and Seth Rich, and I've heard no denials since the elections when they came out with it, with all this pedophilia in the islands and all that. They never denied it. I couldn't support them.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like a lot of that information there is not necessarily mainstream information. So I would imagine that the pedophilia things, all that stuff that goes a lot deeper and darker in regards to our political system in general, which I believe is tied into both parties. It so happens that a lot of the primary candidates that we know about from the Democratic side seem to be at the top of that totem pole there, but that subject matter there goes a lot deeper than just one single party, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, I agree with it. It goes deeper. But when I've got a party that I've supported most of my life, and they had these atrocious accusations, and nobody had the courage to say, oh, no, we didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when my party left me.
Yeah.
How could I defend the Democratic Party at that point?
Right. Well, that's understandable, my friend. I appreciate you for sharing that. And so,
can I get off on a subject that I want to get off on?
Make it a quick thought, because I want to make sure I leave the phone lines open so more people can call in and share about the walk away movement. So, quick thought.
And I want to hear about the walk away movement too. But let me hit you real quick with this.
Yeah.
We're going to go through a depression, then we're going to go through a hyperinflation, and then we're going to have good times. Everybody's talking right now about the hell that's going to be coming our way. But what they're not doing is looking up and seeing the good news that's going to happen. Trade wars, we only export 17% of our GDP.
Yeah.
Hurt me bad.
Yeah. But watch this. People aren't including or counting what we export the most of, which are Federal Reserve notes. So there's a trade war, right? We're trading paper digits and debt, and people are sending us goods, and so the world's tired of that. That's the true trade war.
Well, I'm all for them to continue that, but it's just like they said, oh, China is going to cut off 40% of their soybean orders, and they're not going to buy from America. Have you seen what South America's doing with soybeans? Nothing much.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention to that much. Interesting, yeah.
Check the ag down there. They're not going to be able to support China.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd imagine that they have some way of getting their needs met from the continent of Africa, because they're doing a lot of investing in Africa. So it's good to say, come that next paradigm shift after this whole restructuring aspect, I think Africa will be a booming nation, and there will be a lot of opportunity there that China will take advantage of. So, yeah. But thank you for calling in, my friend. Appreciate your thoughts.
Okay, have fun.
Have a good night. Yep. So yeah, so interesting, man. A lot of great stuff here, but let's stick to the topic at hand. I want to really get covered that walk away movement, and so I want people to call in and share your thoughts directly, so I can get a well-rounded viewpoint of actually what's going on. And reason I say well-rounded, just because I myself, when I saw the walk away movement, I heard some stories. my thought process is, me personally, with the whole Rethinking the Dollar platform and whatnot, is, I woke up a decade ago. I woke up to the fact that neither party is operating in my best interest. So I consider myself more of a political atheist in the fact that I don't have confidence in man in general. Nevertheless, a two-party system that's all under the same umbrella of school of thought. So yeah, I'm interested in finding out. Hello, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
North Carolina. Hope you're doing well.
I'm sorry. Say the name one more time. And where you calling from again?
Jason from Boone, North Carolina.
Jason from North Carolina. Thanks for calling, my friend. What's your thoughts on this walk-away movement?
I think I walked away about 10 plus years ago under George W.
Now, were you?
I voted for him.
Okay, so you were more on either side. You only got two choices: Republican or Democrat. What did you walk away from, and where did you end up?
Basically, I'm pretty much libertarian now. I vote for all libertarians on any field as far as like for governor's race or house or whatever. And the biggest thumb to the nose to the establishment was when I voted for Donald Trump. I thought it was hilarious that he won, and I'm actually surprised how well he's done. Yeah. But with George W., I think my biggest gripe was the unjust war.
Interesting.
And not balancing the budget, spending more than ever, all the bailouts. Man, I probably go on.
So here's the thing. But here's the thing for me, and this is where I disassociate with any political school of thought in general, just because it's all of the same mindset. And so because our government has been hijacked in general from a central banking standpoint, we've been given two parties all with the same agenda of only able to do the same exact thing: borrow, promise, overextend, and repeat that same process. So whether it's a Democrat, Republican, Trump has shaken things up drastically, which is causing a lot of problems and will in the future, I think, benefit us a lot better than his opponent would have. But he's talking about spending money and borrowing money. So, the debt system is the problem, I believe. So instead of people walking away, because you're going to either walk from a Democrat side to a libertarian or whatever party might come about from this point, because I believe the ultimate agenda of this walkaway movement is to create the new life of a new party, which will be more geared towards socialism purely. And so the goal is to make it more obvious. And so they're gonna promote it with, we the people, the people, the people, the people, and it's gonna be a person up top making promises under a new window, but the same school of thought. So that's why I'm leery of this walk away movement. That's why I'm trying to find out exactly what's going on here, because it's not going to somewhere. It's waking up and realizing that it's the people who have to decide on our future, not an elected official with some type of plan that was the response to a problem they created. So. But I'm ranting, man, friend. I apologize for that. But no.
No, you're fine, bud. If they want to go see how a socialized nation runs, and go to a third world country and see how great it is. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about my past because I did my time. Yeah. But well, yeah, it's a mess. Well, you lose all your rights. And the first thing that goes is gun control. It's out the window. Yeah. Yeah, I talked to an old World War II vet not too long ago, and he said that was the first thing that the Germans gave up, was their right to bear arms. Yeah, right. And so I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts. I want to keep the line open, get more people in. So I appreciate you sharing your thoughts, my friend. You walked away, and so now the biggest thing is getting people to wake up. And so I like the idea that one of the viewers who's a part of the walkaway movement mentioned about waking up. So I want to comment on that. So thank you for calling in. This is the first I heard about it. I'll be glad to stay in tune, but I want to thank you for what you've done, and I have told all my other friends about you. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Have a good night. All right, buddy. Bye. Interesting. So I like the idea that people are sharing their thoughts. I need some more people to call in who's actually a part of the movement, aware of the movement. It would help. But
To give you an idea of what's going on, I like the idea of people waking up, and it's interesting. I think it's great, but we can't stop now. Like if people are waking up, we got to give them the truth now. We got to direct them in a way that where they're not still looking for a party to attach themselves to. That's going to be a problem. You don't need a political party to have meaning, to make a difference in this world. You need the idea that you as an individual, you're responsible for yourself, and it's up to you to make sure that you are going to create the life you want to live, not a political party. Once again, I'm getting fired up, so I got to calm down. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. This is Anthony from Dallas, Texas.
Anthony from Texas. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, my man.
What's on your mind? What do you think about this walkaway movement? Share your thoughts with me.
Well, on this space, I kind of think of walkaway as far as one being aware of their political affiliation. That's one aspect of it. But then getting away from one political affiliation and moving over to another one, you know, it's just on its face, it just doesn't sound like there's any direction. Yeah. And to your comment about your particular status, I kind of look at you and the people that listen to your show and chime in more on the lines of political sovereigns. They understand the political landscape, and they choose not to affiliate with either one of them because they understand the duality of both aspects of the political platform.
Right.
And then as far as the financial aspect of governing oneself, I like to think that myself and many people who think like you and some of your followers are more on the lines of financial sovereigns.
Yeah.
So because you've taken that next step approach as far as now you've woken up, now you know what you need to do in order to structure yourself in order to navigate through the societal changes that we're all experiencing.
Right. I do agree. So go ahead.
No, I was going to just say, so in those regards, you know, this movement, this awakening, if you will, if it's not followed up with some level of degree of properly educating yourself on politics and finances or finance or commerce, then you're pretty much going to be cannon fodder for the next up-and-coming political movement.
Right.
And I kind of liken what's going on with the walkaway movement as being a next, or has the propensity of becoming a next political movement.
Right. And so
I say be a sovereign, an anarchist, be self-governed.
I would agree, and that would be a great starting point for you to lay your foundation, because ultimately what it really boils down to, people, is it's coming to the realization that you're waking up from, and this might sounds funny to some people, but I've always believed in that whole Matrix aspect. Like watching the movie The Matrix when I was younger really resonated with me because I felt like I was a part of something that I didn't really choose or have much choice in. And so once I was unplugged, once I unplugged myself, and my awakening moment came from having lived outside the country for many years and having a chance to look back into America and realizing how our priorities was off, our culture was corroding, and so now we are just a lost society in general. And so I think this walk-away movement, it stands a chance to help people wake up, but wake up to what is the question, and that's going to be, I think, the monetary system. Only reason, in my opinion, Democratic-minded or Democrats, Republicans, or whatever, are really feeling this idea of rallying around something is the fact that people are feeling a pinch financially. If everyone was living high on the hog, if everyone wasn't so indebted and they were living comfortable as years and years ago, then I don't think there'd be much of a move to really pitch a fit about anything because you would be good. But I think a lot of people are feeling a pinch, especially in California, where I think this movement started. So, yeah. But no, I thank you for calling. I got another call I want to make sure I get to. But thanks for your calling in, my friend.
Appreciate you taking my call, Mike.
Thank you. Bye. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm gonna get some more calls. I missed one, so I'm sorry I missed your call. Give me a call back. Definitely get you on here. So I've been putting up just some videos or whatnot of what of what's happening in regards to that movement. But I want to make sure I find out some thoughts from the chat. I want to read some chats. And so looking to find out, are there any viewpoints in regards to information I share from my thought process? I want to find out your thoughts. Give me some responses to that. It says a walkaway movement is about people understanding they have been told the same thing for 60 years. For 60 years and the same message, something is wrong there. I agree 100%. So now that people are coming to the realization that they have been told a lie, and the lie was geared towards making sure they never come into the truth. Now that you are aware that you were lied to, what will be your primary focus of how to get caught up to speed on what you've been left out on? And that's going to be the question. I would love to hear some thoughts on that. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, Michael? This is Alaska Prepper calling from Alaska.
I'm doing good, my friend. How are you doing? What's your thoughts on this walkaway movement?
Well, I have a question. My question would be, what are they walking away to?
And
what are they walking to?
That's a great follow-up question, because in the subject title I have what's next. So you're walking away from a party that has been oppressive in nature through fake media for real, as well as just the whole idea of treating Americans like they were second-class citizens by patty caking them and making promises, as opposed to building people up, encouraging them to go out for themselves without government's help to make a life for themselves. So now people are walking away from that. Now it's like, okay, you have a clean slate in a sense, but don't run to the conservative side or to the Republican side thinking you're gonna get much over there, because it's all the same school of thought. So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, share your thoughts.
So I mean, I think that people ought to first realize what it is that we have. Mm-hmm. And when you think of government, any type of government, I feel, except for a representative republic, is forced, because these people that are asking for free this or free that, they don't understand that in order for the government to give you something, they have to take it away from someone else. Government does not produce anything. All they do is take from one and give to another. So anyone that advocates any type of government that does that is advocating violence and force, because if you don't give up what the government wants you to give up, i.e. your taxes, they're going to take it from you one way or another, and it's going to end up being by force if you don't comply.
Yeah, that's typically how it goes. And so, one of the comments I'm reading right here says, in asking people what are they walking away from, it says walking to an independent party or Republican. It says because Trump isn't really considered a Republican. And so, here's my thought on Trump. Like, I didn't vote for him. And I think, I'm still of the mindset that he's a Trojan horse. He didn't come out of nowhere because he was a celebrity figure in the first place, but he happened to be the ideal guy that was needed in this day and age to shake things up after having been, after having received 8 years of someone who was strategically placed as president. So I think he's very interesting in and of itself. So I always question Trump. So I think he's capable of doing a lot more that we don't know about, just because he has nothing to lose. Whether think about this, he don't need the job. He campaigned on the fact that he didn't need the job. He's doing it because he cares. Everything he said during his campaign speeches against Hillary Clinton was how inflated the stock market was, how much of a bubble it is, how much he named 10 different reasons why the economy is doomed. But yet now he's president. He goes along with that same narrative. The economy is great, jobs are low. He's saying the same damn thing that President Obama said. Of course, he has to, because he can't say the truth. But come on now, just from a conscience sake, you got to tell the people something. But you can't keep saying the same damn lie over and over again. So I think I will keep my eye on that guy as well.
Well, I think that one of the biggest problems in our nation right now is a sense of morality. People have lost their morality, and maybe it's also ignorance, because the public school systems have done a great job at allowing the younger generation to forget what this nation is really about, as far as working hard and making your own way. But if people would just consider that whenever you vote for any kind of a government representative, that what you're doing is you're voting for someone to apply force to someone else so that you can get what you want. That's what it comes down to. You're voting for force. It's just you're not getting your hands dirty. All you're doing is getting some ink on your hands when you go to the ballot box, putting someone in there to do your dirty work for you. So if we gain some kind of morality again in this country, maybe things would change. However, I think that's really far away. I think something really bad is going to have to happen before we find who we are again.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, my friend. And yeah, it's unfortunate, man, but yet we are in questionable times, but yet exciting times, because the fact that people are waking up is very interesting, because now they need to be led into more truthful information that can get them going. So, but I got another call. Let me get back with you. But thank you for calling in, my friend. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
Have a good night. Very interesting. Now that people are awake, let's lead them to the light. Lead them to some truth, and the truth starts within yourself. Don't look for nobody else to do your job. Hello? I missed somebody's call. If you don't mind, call back and I'll get you. I must have hit the wrong button. So anyway, I'm missing some things in the chat. I want to make sure I answer questions. Or says Donald Trump is working with Russia to destroy our economy. That's why he's starting these trade wars. Tony B, I wouldn't destroy our economy. Our economy is already screwed. Now it's just a matter of it completely coming to shambles, which basically means all the financial stuff, all the currencies, all that stuff is exposed to what it is. So whether he's working with them or not, I don't know, but yet something needs to happen. And to prolong this thing off is only going to make it that much more painful, because we're reaching a point where we can no longer. So I have a couple people calling in, so every time I pick the phone up, they hang up. So if you want to join us via live chat, stay on the phone line a little longer, please. Yeah, what's really worth getting your eyes wrapped around is, I just pulled up an article because I responded to a question that someone left me in the comment section, and it had to do with population growth and the fact that from that or something, the economy should be booming. And I mentioned the reason why it's not booming, and I'll get to that in a second. Somebody keep that thought for me. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing? This is Gerald again. I'm calling you from Canada, man. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent, my friend. What do you think about this WalkAway movement?
Well, actually, man, they walked away from us many years ago. I love your show because you're always talking about the economics. But you know what? And one thing I'm understanding is how now YouTube is messing with your channel and how they're messing with your phone, because all of a sudden the people are somehow waking up to what's true. Now, here's the thing I wanted to know. I'm just hearing, I always wanted to learn about Julius Caesar. Even though he wasn't no good, it was all about money. So check this out. Julius Caesar says, when the people get close to the truth, continue the circus to go. The biggest talk, not yours, but the biggest talk has been LeBron James and money. And the most amazing thing is, when I piece what Julius Caesar said to all of this, LeBron James and these people are nothing but clowns. So as they continue to push this fiat money on us, and we thinking we're trying to come up, we're actually going backwards. And actually, we're in serious trouble because we don't have no bullets to protect the families, protect the kids. They have separated everything. So they continue this chaotic thing going on. And then will a glimmer of light, a brother like you, not a white guy, a brother like you come and talk about economics, and all of a sudden everybody's turning around and looking on this side of the fence, which I've been saying so many years. I'm 61, and we so far behind that we might as well deal our own graves, because the United States is so corrupt that they would let anybody come in here and enslave us again. I don't doubt it. It's madness.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. And so in regards to letting people come in and enslave us, a lot of people don't realize over the last umpteen years since the Great Recession, a lot of property has been purchased by our the largest debt holder of, or our largest issuer of credit, which is China. China and Asia, that region, has basically been allowed to come in and acquire a lot of real estate in this country. And so one of the biggest purchases that most people are not aware of is the fact that, I think it's an Asian firm or something or another, came in and purchased the biggest vault The biggest vault in the United States of America, to my knowledge, give or take, was owned by J.P. Morgan, and J.P. Morgan sold it to them at a discount rate for whatever reason. You know, like, why would J.P. Morgan, the too big to fail bank, sell their vault, their biggest skyscraper in New York, you know, to a creditor of ours for the cheap? So that right there lets me know that there's some back scratching was done in that regards there. So
let me add on to you.
Yeah.
Let me add on to you. I'm in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, I drive dump trucks. Guess what I'm seeing? Who's going into these new neighborhoods?
What's
between the Filipinos and Asians. Now the whites up here getting upset, so-called whites, they're getting upset. Me being older, looking at this chessboard, they have basically given them cheap loans to get these mortgages so they can come over here and live good. This chessboard is so wicked that it keeps the cake again. If you had to hear anything on the media, man, do you know it's you the only one that's talking logic and common sense, everybody else talking stupidity? Like, it's a show. And Trump is actually filling his pocket. I like Trump, but the fact is, he's filling his pocket. He is not a president. He is a businessman. He is a racist man. The only thing he hates is being broke. He don't care about color. Only thing he cares about is money. So he's siding himself along with them Asians, with them Russians, because America is up for grab, and a brother like Dane Calloway is opening up the people's minds, saying, wait a minute, we didn't come from Africa. Our ancestors are from here. This is our land. This is the only thing that you can't print. You can't print land. You can't redo land.
Right.
We ain't got no land. We can't grow no food. We ain't got no cattle. And Jesus ain't coming. I wish some of these people wake up. But again, rethinking the dollar, I think the people are so asleep that it's too late, and they're relying on Jesus, and it ain't happening.
Well,
keep keeping on, brother.
I will, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate you calling. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, man.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah, it's very interesting, man. Like, you know, everything at the end of the day, all this, you know, material matter, political, economical matter, economics, finance, all it boils down to this day and age. But at the core of all that is the spiritual matters. There's no way of getting away from that. This is everything at its core essence is spiritual related. And so that's the underlying factor of all this. So faith is needed. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. Tim again from Colorado.
Yeah. How you doing, buddy?
Good, buddy.
What's your thoughts on?
I just want to tell you what a great job you're doing, and your callers have been fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. What's your thoughts on this WalkAway movement?
Well, you know, you keep talking about that, but that's political, right? I mean, isn't that like a waste of time?
It's political, but yet it's a growing movement, and it can be, and if utilized properly for myself as well as for you, it could be that crack of a window opening into a great conversation with someone to say, hey, man, like, you know, you can go from political matters right into our monetary system. Because as people realize they've been duped by one party, we don't want them to be double duped by going into another school of thought thinking the grass is greener on the other side or something of that nature. We want to tell them the truth that at the core of all this, this is all related to the fact that our monetary system is crumbling. And I believe that this movement was started because people are feeling a pinch financially. Because if Hillary had won... And, you know,
I totally agree with you, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, I totally agree. Remember, I'm the central banking guy.
Yeah.
But, no, everything you say is right on, and your callers have been really great. Okay? But, you know, WalkAway is still politically motivated. But let me ask you this, okay? Because have you convinced anybody in your family what's going on?
Yes, everybody.
You have?
Yes, everybody. Now, watch this.
How'd you do it?
Because here's a good way of explaining this. Because I walk the talk, I live the talk, I am the talk. Like this subject matter,
I agree.
This subject matter, I can't get away from if I try it. It's like my faith. Like, you know, all my core people know my foundation, and so I can't not have a conversation about this. So if you're around Mike,
yeah,
you know what Mike's talking about.
Everybody hate you?
They don't hate me. It could, if family. I mean, they might be annoyed by me when I come around. I don't preach. I don't preach it, but I just live it. So
yeah, how do you do it? How do you do it?
Just live it. You mean just live it?
Live it.
Oh no! In regards to living it, simply because I wear T-shirts. You know what I'm saying? So these are conversation starters, and then I tell people I don't give advice, but my family and friends know me close. They know where I'm at in life, and so a lot of people are saying, "Hey man, like you got your head on straight. You're doing good. You're doing okay." So just my life and my children, my wife, my family, the light. Put it like this: the grace of God shining on my household. And so just that alone
that's great,
puts me in a position to be able to.
And your family puts up with you?
Oh yeah, definitely. My wife, she thinks I'm crazy, but she knows. She's aware.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, man. But it's nothing I've done. Like this subject matter is not something I didn't want to talk about this. I just came across this and now I'm led into the subject matter. So I think it's the grace of God. So I don't take credit for anything, man. It's just here I am, and I'm with you. But yeah.
I just want to let you know, okay?
Yeah.
You're like bullseye on everything you talk about. And the last two callers that called in were, pretty much awake, right?
Yeah.
But, I can't wake anybody up, Mike. Nobody. I mean, my wife has to put up with me. That's about it.
But like this. Everybody, and this, as I mentioned before you call about everything at this foundation as being a spiritual matter, everybody on this planet is here for a reason. And so your reason at the end of the day, whether or not you believe it, I don't know where you're in your spiritual life, whatever, but whatever it is you're here for is interconnected with what I'm supposed to do. So we are all interconnected because we've been given gifts by God that we're supposed to contribute. And if everyone does their job, we wouldn't be in the position we're in now. But because everyone hasn't been doing their job, we have some people who have a louder voice in the atmosphere than others. But you got a voice, my friend. It's just a matter of finding out what it is, because the world needs what you're carrying. And I'm a firm believer of that. So if people want to listen to you, you just got to find an angle.
You're so positive, man. Believe me, I love everything you're saying. But you're so positive, and I agree with you. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's just, man, I mean, things look pretty bleak. And listen, I got two Bibles next to me here, and I was, I'm an atheist.
Really?
But I know where you're at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know you're one of only 4 people that I know that truly believe.
Yeah.
And I'm trying, okay, bud?
Yeah.
Because the devil's in charge. And I brought this up last time we talked, but
yeah. Now watch this. Let me. I want to just point you in the direction of someone who's been very influential in my spiritual life, and it's changed my life completely, in a very good sense at times, but sometimes because I feel like I'm out on the edge by myself sometimes. But it's a guy who's no longer with us, but his name is Dr. Miles Monroe. And his entire
Miles Monroe. Miles Monroe?
Yep, Dr. Miles, M-Y-L-E-S, Monroe. And he's no longer with us. He passed away 2014. But he's a man who he dedicated his life on preaching the gospel of the kingdom of God. And if you dive into the kingdom of God message, the way Christ preached it, and so that's one of the things we're all called to do. As the Bible says, go out into the world and preach the gospel. The gospel is the fact that the kingdom of God is already here, which most people may not really grasp that. So I don't want to go too in depth into that. But I would encourage you to YouTube Miles Monroe. There's a million video clips. And I believe that message and his sermon and the way he packages it up, it could change your life, my friend, in a good note. But
I just found him. He's a black man, right?
Yes, sir. He was a bad boy prior to departing this earth. But his legacy will be here a lot longer. So his books, watch this. I'll show you how serious he is. I got every one of his books. And so here's a book right here. Wow. It's called Becoming a Leader. I read it, chopped it up. I got every book he wrote, I read. Put it like that. Changed my life. So I'm gonna let you go, my friend. But thank you for calling in. But listen to some of his videos, and you won't be the same.
I'll listen to you. But they broke the cast when you came out, bro. You're a good man.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Okay, hang in there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you too. Bye. Yeah, man, that's real talk. Real talk. Real talk. There's no way I can get away from not talking about when, you know, yeah. Anyway, so just that's a little side note off the topic, but we still vibing tonight on the walk away movement. And so call in. I had someone on the phone from the Middle East trying to call in. So please call back. Every time you call in, I'm usually on the phone with somebody. So if you do decide to call in with a point, try to keep it short so I can try to get as many people in as possible. And as always, we've reached that hour point, so we're coming down the home stretch. So if you're going to call in and want to share your thoughts, feel free to do so. But I have a question from Philman that I want to make sure I get to. Let me go back up here into the thread. It says, hey, Mike, you read the article about the Real ID. They passed a law by October 20. All citizens are required to carry that ID. Without the ID, you can't enter majority of the federal buildings. No, Philman, I didn't read that, but I'm interested. Let me let me look it up, because I would say that could be very timely, and it might be here a lot sooner than federal ID mandatory. Let's see what pops up. News. Real ID, Trump pardons, Real ID is coming. Real ID is coming, what you should know before the deadline hit. Federal government may no longer accept Congress passed ID law. Okay, so let me pull this up, and we can definitely want to make sure this looks like some interesting screen share. And so as always, I want to get away from the conversation at hand in regards to walk away, but it says, Real ID is coming, what you should know before the deadline hits. Starting in October 2020, the federal government may no longer accept a driver's license. South Carolina DMV is promoting Real ID. So what is a new ID? And I would imagine, without even reading this, that new ID has a chip in it. That's a way of making sure they can track and monitor. Yeah. And it's good to say that this is coming probably from, it doesn't matter which party is endorsing it because it has to go through the House in North Carolina. But yeah, it's good to say everyone's going to be promoting that thing. But anyway, so coming down the home stretch here, get to some last questions. Anybody want to call in, feel free to do so. It's been an interesting conversation. I think we've covered a lot. It says Donald Trump is working with, okay, what else? I got to go down to the bottom. Any questions that I missed that I should get to? It says, what are your thoughts on the yield curve? Dwayne Robertson, very good question there. I talked about the yield curve last night, did a news article about it yesterday. And based upon just what economists have shown us, based upon past data, is that when the yield curve inverts shortly thereafter, bad things happen. And so I was watching Gregory Mannarino earlier, the past guest of RTD, and actually I gotta try to get him back on again, but he mentioned how everyone's paying attention to the 2 and 10 year treasury as opposed to the 10-30, and so he's like, the real truth is in the 10-30. So I believe that, like, based upon data, that when that thing inverts, then all hell breaks loose after that, amongst many other indicators. But hello, caller, what's your name, where you calling from?
Hey, how's it going, brother? This is Jackie. I'm calling from Boston.
Jackie from Boston. I appreciate you. What's your thoughts on walk away?
On walk away, I actually, if you don't mind, I want to speak on something.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a little off topic, but in Boston, they're over here campaigning for non-citizens to vote in local elections.
Tell me
what's your thoughts on that? What's their agenda behind it?
Okay, so that's a great question there, my friend. So my thoughts on the idea that in your area in Boston, they have non-citizens, so basically immigrants, illegal aliens. Illegal aliens.
No, so they're saying it's going to be residents, but my opinion is that they're opening the Pandora's box, and pretty soon, after they realize a lot of blacks aren't going to vote Democrat anymore, they'll start letting illegals and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I don't want to show forth.
Okay, so I would imagine it's the same thing as what's happening everywhere else with, allowing immigrants into our country without having any type of the due process aspect of it, and flooding certain areas that have been probably flooding more areas, states and cities and whatnot that has been more geared towards the Republican side throughout the last couple of elections, kind of, sort of, and overpopulating those areas with people who receive benefits and who receive some of the benefits of living in this country, gearing them to probably vote for the Democratic side. That's probably how this all started originally, because I hear about, I actually, this is probably not a good example, but I was not too far in Detroit, and there was a bus. There was a bus full of people, and everyone on that bus was speaking Spanish only. They couldn't speak not a drop of English, and I mean, it just off appearance, it appeared as if they had just arrived in Michigan, because they were going into Walmart like it was like the Christmas. They were so excited and like. And so I'm thinking, like, it just looked odd. So I don't know where they came from, but not a single person there was speaking English. And I'm thinking, like, they weren't dressed like they were coming from some type of event. So they looked as if they were just newly arrived type of individuals. And so first thing was like, man, I wonder, is this that movement I'm hearing about where a lot of people from below the border is being bused to certain areas? And it so happened to be in my neck of the woods. So that type of thing is present, and so the past administration was very open towards that, of course, in preparation for this past presidential election, so that the Democratic Party can get some votes or whatnot. So I'm sure whatever this movement is leading towards, is probably going to be to some type of socialistic party, which plays into all those type of activities.
Yeah, I think it's going to get this entire country. They're going to go real left, real socialist.
Yeah.
In the next election, if not the election after that.
Yeah, and that's all subject to the economy, man. That's all subject to the economy, because this could be preparation for the fact that, you know, the political structure, they're feuding behind closed doors. Everyone hates the fact that it appears to be Trump is doing some disruptive things, but this could be by design to bring about some type of political restructuring as well as some type of monetary restructuring. So this could, you know, I hate when people say the good guys, the bad guys, or good guys are winning. Who knows the truth of what's going on? It's always after the fact we can look back and put the pieces of the puzzle together. So right now, I don't believe there's no good guys that's, you know, trying to make this correction or this reset a little bit smoother, because debt is debt. There's no way of repaying it. What the hell do? You default. That just happens. That's what every government does when you reach the point of just peak debt. You just renege on your promises. So I find all this very interesting. That's why I want to talk about WalkAway tonight.
Okay, thank you. And just really quick, so I've always said the same thing leading up to the 2016 election. I figured it was too good to be true. It was sort of a Hegelian dialectic, because I don't know if you recall that Trump spoke about auditing the Federal Reserve and how this entire economy is a bubble, all that good stuff, and gets into office and, you know, we don't see any reform whatsoever. Yeah. So you're right as far as the good and bad guy thing. But man, thank you for the insight. I just stumbled upon your page today. I saw a couple of videos of you, speaking about the true rates of inflation and what's really going on in the economy. So keep doing your thing, man. I'll keep following you.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you calling in. Thanks. Bye. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, like, man, everything there's a plan behind everything that's going on. And this is the thing. Reason I say that is because I've noticed a trend over the last several years, especially, that come mid-July, mid-summer-ish, whatever, there's always some type of media frenzy that gets the attention of a lot of people. I.e., in past years, it's been more towards the liberal Democratic side, which unfortunately, you know, this is, I'm not going to label anybody, because, you know, the political party has nothing to do with financial status whatsoever. But based upon the trend in history and what I've seen from a lot of videos in regards to this WalkAway movement, is that a lot of the lower income government subsidized family and households tend to be more democratic. That's just how it's been. And so more of the activity that happens in the summer times, they get the people fired up, unfortunately, has been very divisive. And for the last couple of summers, I don't remember what happened last summer, but I know what got the people's attention the most was just the racial divide, especially the division between our law enforcement as well as the inner city community. And so it happened to do with the tragic lives being lost of some younger boys. But that was a great play by the liberal-based media to spread hate and to spread just news to divide us further apart. So now that this wake up movement is happening, I'm glad to see that people are questioning things. And the biggest way to start getting another side of the story is to ask questions. Ask questions. Got corrected out earlier. So other than that, we're going to end it short tonight. I appreciate everybody chiming in. It was great as always having a chance to catch up with everybody and having some new viewers and people calling and sharing their thoughts on the WalkAway movement. I believe that throughout this, I kind of shared my viewpoint. Overall, just very curious as to how all of this arrived, where it's going, and what's next. That's going to be the big question. And so if you found this information informative, please share this with family and friends so more people can find out the importance of really considering what's next. And if you are of the pro-libertarian / political atheist / and anarcho-capitalist type of mindset, then, you know, this could be an opportunity for you to share your thoughts, which will direct people towards our true problem, which is the books, the financial books of our government, of all the entities that's been created that's draining our society dry and indebting our population. We've reached a point now, in my opinion, of complete debt saturation where we can no longer reach into the future and extract future wealth and bring it to today, i.e. what credit is. So we've reached a point to where it's no longer feasible because the public is tapped out. That's why I believe a lot of people now are up in arms and really pissed about what the government's not doing for them, which is why they feel misled by the Democratic Party in the first place, because they're feeling a pinch some way or another in their pocketbooks. And so it is not about red or blue, Democrat, Republic. It's about the greenback. And it's the greenback which has lost all its purchasing power and subject to massive inflation once the Federal Reserve loses control of this quantitative tightening as well as this interest rate hike, which is happening right now. And so this spells trouble down the line for everybody, no matter what political party you're associated with or not. And the most important thing will be your core beliefs, which is your faith. And as I mentioned earlier to the callers, it's real important to really keep your eye on the prize, which is Christ, and really spend more time in just believing that you're going to make it through all of this, because he always does a good job of making sure his people come out on the other side better than they went into the storm. So anyway, that will be me preaching again, which I seem to be doing more of. So I might turn this into a preaching segment as well. So anyway, everybody, be safe, be good. It's been great. Let's stay tuned. Share this if you find this informative. Make sure you click the like button, subscribe, or thumb down if it wasn't for you. Either way, it's all good. The truth is going to be spoken here. Enjoy your evening.